Right now, somewhere, your mom is looking at her phone. Not because she got a notification, not because she's waiting on news from a doctor or a bank or anyone else. She's looking at it the way people look at doors. Not because they expect anything to happen, but because looking keeps them ready. Her phone might be face up on the kitchen table, or on the arm of the couch, or in her pocket. But she keeps touching her pocket, feeling its outline through the fabric just to confirm it's still there. She knows you're busy. She knows what your life looks like. She's watched it become what it is, and she's proud of every piece of it. She's not sitting there in pain. She's sitting there the way she's always sat, patient, warm, steady, but she's checked her phone 6 times today, and you don't know that. And that is what this channel is about, not the things we know about our aging parents, the things we don't, the things happening in quiet houses, in ordinary afternoons, in moments that never make it into the phone call because they don't seem important enough to mention. She doesn't tell you about the phone. She would never. It would feel like pressure, and pressure is the last thing she wants to put on you. So she checks it. She puts it down. She goes about her day, and you go about yours. And somewhere in the space between your life and hers, something is being left unsaid by both of you, and one of you has more time to correct that than the other. Here's what most of us tell ourselves. We tell ourselves our parents are fine, that they have their routines, their friends, their shows, their garden, that they understand how busy things get, that they're not the kind of people who need constant reassurance, that they know we love them without being told every week. And most of this is true. They are okay. They don't need you to drop everything. They've never once asked you to. They are exactly as independent as you've always believed them to be. And that's the part that makes it complicated. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you about that. When a parent stops asking for things, it's not because they've stopped wanting them. It's because they've made a decision, quietly, without telling you, that their wanting doesn't get to cost you anything. Your mom has calculated the way parents calculate these things without realizing they're doing it. That her need to hear your voice is smaller than your need for a peaceful Tuesday. That her afternoon is worth less than your meeting. That the feeling she gets when you call, the one that stays with her for the rest of the day, is not a good enough reason to interrupt you. She has decided, on your behalf, that she is manageable. And so she checks her phone, and she puts it down, and she doesn't call, and you don't know any of this. Because she's never said it out loud, and you've never thought to ask. Most of us imagine our parents' days looking roughly like what we remember, busy in the ways they were always busy, present in a world that's still showing up for them. But something happens to a parent's world, slowly, without announcement. It gets smaller, not dramatically, not in a way that announces itself, but the drive across town that used to feel routine now requires planning. The friends they had for 30 years, some of them are gone. Some moved away. Some got sick. The dinner parties have become phone calls. The phone calls have become less frequent. The things they used to do have quietly become the things they used to do. And in that smaller world, in the space that used to be filled with the busyness of raising you, what grows is thought, memory, the quiet anticipation of the next time they'll hear from you. You are not a minor character in your parents' lives. You are the main one. You have been since the day you were born, and that has not changed. What's changed is how clearly you can see it from where you're standing. Your parents remember your visits differently than you do. For you, a visit is a block of time. You arrived Friday, you left Sunday. You ate together. You watched something. You helped with whatever needed fixing. It was good. You left tired, but glad you came. For them, the visit started before you arrived. The house was cleaned in a particular way, not because it was dirty, but because you were coming. The food in the refrigerator was chosen thinking about what you like. The bed in your old room was made twice, because the first time didn't feel right. And when you left, when you hugged at the door and said, "I'll call you when I land, I'll call you this weekend, I'll see you at the holidays," the house didn't go back to normal. It went back to what normal is now. Quiet, clean, yours, somehow, even in your absence. They don't tell you this because it would sound like too much, like guilt, like pressure. They have worked very deliberately to make sure that loving you never feels like a burden to you. So they carry it alone. and you drive home. And the week fills up, and by the time you call on Sunday, you've almost forgotten the specific feeling of that goodbye. They haven't. There's a number that changes something when you hear it. After the age of 18, the average adult will spend roughly 5 to 10% of their remaining time with their parents. That's it. Childhood is the long chapter, the one that feels like it will never end. Everything after that is a series of visits, holidays, long weekends, a phone call a week. If you're consistent, if your parents are in their late 60s or 70s, and you live a few hours away, and you visit a handful of times a year, you're already in the final chapter of the time you have with them. Not the end of it, but the final chapter. And that chapter doesn't come with a table of contents. You don't get a page that says, "Here is what you have left." You find out by looking back. And by then, the only thing left to do is remember. You are not in that place yet. That is the most important sentence in this video. You are not in that place yet. There was a last time your mom helped you with something you couldn't do alone. There was a last time your dad drove you somewhere. You sat in the passenger seat, the same way you'd sat since you were too small to reach the seatbelt. You got where you were going. You said thanks. You got out. Neither of you knew. If she had known, she would have driven slower. She would have taken the long way. She would have found something to say, or been happy not to say anything, or both at once. The way parents are sometimes capable of both at once. These moments don't end with finality. They end with ordinariness. You go inside. She drives away. The day continues, and somewhere, without ceremony, without any acknowledgement at all, a chapter closes. The chapters closing right now are ordinary too. A Sunday dinner that seemed routine, a phone call that lasted 11 minutes and ended with, "Okay, talk soon." A hug at an airport, you don't know which ones they are. That's not meant to frighten you. It's meant to wake something up. None of this is meant to make you feel guilty. But if it does, that's okay. Guilt that moves you is not the enemy. The kind to avoid is the guilt that sits and stagnates and becomes one more thing you carry without ever acting on. Here's what's still true. Right now, as you watch this, your mom's phone is somewhere near her. Your dad has thought about you today, probably more than once. Probably without telling you. The house you grew up in is still there, quieter than it used to be, still capable of filling up the moment you walk through the door. You still have time, not infinite time, not comfortable, always. There, no deadline time, but time, real time, usable time. You don't need a plan. You don't need to reorganize your life or feel overwhelmed by everything you haven't said. You just need to make one call. This week, not when things settle down. This week, not to say anything important, just to say, "I was thinking about you." That's enough. That's more than enough. That is, in fact, the whole thing. The call takes 4 minutes. What it does to them lasts for days. Your mom checks her phone every hour. Today, let her find something there.